that much snow. That one year we did get some on New Year's. Well, we surely didn't get what you got. Well, we got snow. It was cold. It was pretty cold up there. But, a little bit of snow here and there, I mean, I don't remember how much, but, the biggest thing that I miss, truthfully, is the Maryland seafood. Yeah, that's probably...
Can y'all hear me?
Hey, I think we better... Is the Maryland seafood.
Can y'all hear me? You can still hear me. Okay, good. All right, so we're going to do the net here in a minute. I'm going to share my screen here as well because I don't think I want y'all looking at my ugly face for the next couple of hours, or actually the next hour here. So I only expect to be on here for about an hour. Give me a second. I want y'all looking at my ugly face for the next couple. Yeah, let's see here. What in the hell is that damn thing doing up there? Okay, stand by, everybody. Woo, that looks funny. Okay, let's try this. Oh, that looks better. Okay. All right, stand by. We're going to go live. As soon as I can find the damn document. Attention all stations. Attention all stations. This is Greg, K4HSM, assuming net control. As WX4TYS in Knoxville for the East Tennessee SKYWARN Training Net on the 146.940 repeater. All traffic will be directed via net control. This net is open to anyone and everyone. Tonight's net will consist of announcements and a brief training segment. We will take check-ins throughout the net. Are there any District 5 SKYWARN coordinators or net control stations on the frequency? If so, please check in now and indicate if you have any announcements. WX4TYS, standing by. Hope everyone's having a good new year, by the way. Alright, nothing heard. Just a quick one here. We're on YouTube as well, so if you want to look for us on YouTube, it should be under East Tennessee SKYWARN District 5 Training Net. And we are doing the live stream there. I did not have time to set it up on Facebook tonight. So if you are capable, you can switch it over to YouTube and you can see my, right now, you can see my computer screen. All right. We do have a few announcements that we're going to go through. First off, we're going to talk a little bit about SKYWARN spotter training classes coming up. It's the new year. Hope everyone's had a good holiday. But around the first of the year is when the SKYWARN spotter classes start ramping up. Currently, we have 6 classes on the schedule for the upcoming quarter, the first 3 months of the year. So, starting off, we have one in Jefferson County. It'll be on January the 13th. I want to say that is on a Monday. That is. And it's going to be at 6 o'clock Eastern Time at the Jefferson City Public Library on City Center Drive. And that's in Jefferson City. And you can contact Clark Measles for scheduling and reserving a spot. Most of these places, they don't necessarily require a reservation, but they do at least want you to reach out to the point of contact just so that they can plan for the appropriate size of the crowd that's expected. So, you can see these on the MRX SKYWARN class schedule website. We do have a link on our website at etskywarn.com. The next class is going to be down in Hamilton County in Chattanooga, and it'll be on February the 4th. That's on a Tuesday. That'll be at 6 o'clock as well. Then for our area, the next one after that will be February the 10th. That's in Anderson County. That's at the First United Methodist Church. That'll be located in Oak Ridge on the Oak Ridge Turnpike. February 10th, Monday at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. Daryl Cook is the contact for that class. Next up will be in Scott County. That's on February the 13th, and that'll be on a Thursday. That's at the Roane State Community College up in Huntsville, Tennessee. That's in Scott County at 6 o'clock on the, again, that's on the 13th. It's on a Thursday. Point of contact is KC8 Sierra Papa Victor, Bill Green. After that, you got another month, March the 13th, which will be on a Thursday as well. Roane County will be having one at the Rockwood Community Center in Rockwood on Chamberlain Avenue. That'll be at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Cliff Seeger, KD4GT, is the contact for that class. And finally, on March the 20th, which is also a Thursday, Bradley County down in Cleveland, Tennessee, Walker Valley High School will have a class scheduled at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. Steve Weber, KA4ELN, is the point of contact for that class. He's also the district coordinator down there, I believe District 3, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head. Turn the volume up here a little bit. And right now, these are the only classes that are scheduled, but there will be more classes added, because I know Blount County does at least one, possibly two classes. There'll be a couple of classes for Knox County. Sevier County's due for a class as well, so probably get some in Campbell and Claiborne counties as well. And there may be some other classes being scheduled during, like last year, we had one during a Smoky Mountain Radio Club meeting, so there may be those classes coming up as well. So keep your eye on the schedule for spotter training classes, and there should be one in your county coming up pretty soon.
WB4GBI repeater. Quick comment, Greg.
Yeah, go ahead there, Ken.
I've not had you on YouTube. What am I looking for on YouTube? I got SKYWARN East Tennessee.
It's listed, says East TN SKYWARN D5 Training Net. That's the that's what it shows up on YouTube. Over.
I missed part of that because it was talking at me here. Well, let's say it again. I'll put it on my book.
East TN SKYWARN D5 Training Net. That's the class. If I've got a second here, I'll see if I can pull it up and post it up on Facebook, and I'll see if I can send it to you direct. Whoop, sorry about that. So, all right. Okay, I'm pulling that up here. While I'm doing this, are there any other SKYWARN coordinators that have joined in that would like to check in, and if so, post your announcements? Y'all didn't see that, by the way. God bless America. Son of a... Y'all getting to see too much of me here. Alright, nothing heard. I'm looking for history. Where is history? There it is. Okay, I've got the link. I'm putting it up on Facebook. I probably okay, hang on just a second. Okay, y'all can watch me for a second here. Alright, just putting this up on Facebook here in case anybody wants to see and hear me. Right now I'm just doing a screen share of it, so, but, let's see. Alright, there we go. No further announcements as far as the SKYWARN spotter classes are concerned. We'll start taking check-ins here in just a moment. There we go again. Okay. When we do check-ins, please give your check-ins one at a time. Give your call sign phonetically. International phonetics or phonetics are preferred. And then give us your name and location. And also, since we do have some of that winter weather in the area, if you want to give us a quick summary of what happened in your neck of the woods. Did you get a little bit of ice? Did you get a lot of ice? Did you get some snow? Did you get nothing? Whatever. You're free to add that into your check-in as well. So again, we'll do one at a time. Any and all stations are welcome to check in. You do not have to be a SKYWARN spotter trained individual to check in. You just have to be a ham operator. And with that, we'll start taking check-ins. Ken, I think you were in there. I'll go ahead and take your check-in first.
Yes, this is KQ4 DIJ Kilo Quebec 4 Delta India Juliet Ken and Boyd's Creek. Thanks, Greg.
I can got you in there. What did it do in your neck of the woods there for the weather?
Well, we do have some rain because I just checked the rain gauge, so we're up to 0.1 something, and it was at 0.01 this morning. So it seems like after about 5 o'clock here, it started to kick in a little bit, drizzling and raining. So I don't know if we have ice out there right now because we are at 35 degrees.
Yeah, I was about to ask your temperature there too. So right here at my house, it's 32.3 degrees, and we have 0.1 inches of precipitation so far. But that's about all we had. We had a little bit of ice on the deck outside. Just a little, just a really thin layer of ice. And I think it's since gone away. But that's about the extent of it. Some of my Christmas decorations, I still have Christmas decorations out because my daughter's birthday is coming up, and so we always leave them up until after her birthday. But some of them had some of the icicle decorations had real icicles. So anyway, thanks, Ken. Next station wishing to check in, call now.
Whiskey Bravo 4, Golf Bravo India, mobile.
Hey Tim, good to hear you. How are the roads looking in your area?
I'm on the James Watt Parkway headed south, just wet. No issues here. There was some icing earlier this morning. One of the radio stations that I care for has an antenna that doesn't like to be iced up, and about an hour ago it called me complaining, but it did stay on the air. 34 degrees is what I show in the vehicle. WV4 GBI mobile.
All right, Tim. Thank you, sir. Good to hear you and mobile safely. Next check-in, please.
Kilo Alpha 3, Whiskey Yankee Echo.
Okay, our second Tim of the night. How you doing there, Tim? Mr. M. And what's the weather doing in your area?
Crappy weather. I'm just telling Ken, we talked just before the net. I'm disappointed. I was hoping to have snow and cold weather, and I'm in shorts and a t-shirt in my garage. I went outside for a few minutes, but it ain't cold enough yet, people. It ain't cold enough.
All right, Tim. Thank you, sir. I think if you want the real winter weather, you might just need to go a few miles to the north. Definitely up in Kentucky, they're getting some right now. But thanks for checking in. We'll talk a little bit more about that here a little bit later on here. Next check-in, call now.
Kilo Charlie 8, Lima Uniform Bravo, Jeremy and Midway.
Good to hear you, Jeremy, and got you checked in there. What's the weather in your neck of the woods?
I got 36 degrees, 0.2 inches of rain today. It started out drizzling ice a little bit this morning, but it's after that it's been pretty much rain all day, just on and off drizzle. Drizzle's all we have here.
Yeah, it seems to be keeping up with the what the reports are that I've been seeing online today. So, thanks a lot. Got you in there, and appreciate you. Next check-in, please.
This is Kilo Quebec 4, Quebec Charlie Juliet KQ4 QCJ Caleb in Tellico Plains.
Good to hear you, Caleb. KQ4QCJ, and how's the weather down there?
Right now, 47 degrees. Had
47?
3 inches of rain throughout the day, just a light drizzle. But the story right now is a northeast wind blowing anywhere from about 8 to 12, and I've clocked a peak of 25 here at the QTH weather station. Other than that, pretty uneventful. Back to that, KQ4 QCJ.
Now, Roger, did you say 47 degrees? Is that correct?
Roger, 47 degrees down here.
Wow, that's a pretty good temperature differential there between there and up here. That's a 15-degree difference. So, yeah, it's East Tennessee. That's the weather for you. 15 minutes it'll change. 15 miles it'll change. So, got you in there, Caleb. Thank you, sir, and hope you're doing well. Next check-in, please. 47. Wow.
Whiskey 4 Delta Foxtrot Bravo, Jason. Maryville. Weather station says 34 degrees and about 0.2 inches of rain so far. Hello, Greg.
Hello, Jason. Good to hear you. Got you in there, and let's see, do I have this right? Yeah. Before DFB, Jason, got you in there. 34 degrees and 0.2 inches of rain today. Did you get any icing?
We got a sleet for about 10 seconds, and that's it today.
Yeah, we didn't get much of the wintry stuff, but we did get a little of that freezing rain. I think it put a small layer on the deck for about an hour or so. I think it's about the worst we got. Thanks for checking in. Good to hear you tonight. Next check-in, please.
WB4GBI repeater. This is Kilo Golf 4 Golf Mike Uniform KG4 GMU Norm in West Knoxville. And we only got a few minutes of sleet and just a drizzle every once in a while, and the rain gauge ain't hardly wet.
Thank you, Norm. Good to hear you tonight. KG4GMU. A few minutes of sleep. Yeah, that's, like I said, that's about what we got. I mean, mostly the freezing rain I think was there this morning, but that's about it. It stayed on the deck in the backyard a little longer because there's very little sun that gets in the backyard. It's not got a lot of sunlight back there in the wintertime. The front of my house is facing south. The back of the house is facing north, and so a lot of the like if it snows, it'll stay on the deck for a few days longer than it would elsewhere because of that. So anyway, thanks for checking in. Good to have you in there tonight. Next check-in, please. It's hard to multitask. I had at least 3 people say they were going to listen to the net tonight, and they're not checking in. And I don't have the chat up on my TV. Let me... Alright, nothing heard? Okay. Give me a quick second to go back to one of my possible discussions for tonight. We were going to talk about forecast models, or what we're going to talk about what a model is, a weather model versus a weather forecast, and how some people, they may be mistaking one for another because of the latest trend in weather not forecasting, but in some of these people that are live streaming, that do weather related live streams or social media posts. There's been some hyped up posts that have come around on social media and on places like YouTube, where they discuss the potential for a humongous snowstorm that comes up in a couple of weeks. You know, like in 2 weeks from now, we could have the worst thunderstorms of the century. And 2 weeks from now, based on models, we could have the worst snowstorm. We could have a deep freeze. We could be plunged into the next ice age. You know, some of these people that do these YouTube videos, and I'm not saying all of them, and I really can't say all of them because one of my assistants has a YouTube channel that does weather at times, so I can't single him out. But some of these streams, they go a little over the top on what they want to put out there for content. And there's a respected meteorologist that I've come to know down in Birmingham. His name is James Spann. Many of you probably are familiar with him. He breaks out the suspenders whenever there's bad weather, and he does live streams during tornado outbreaks in the Birmingham area. If you've watched him on a live stream, you know, he'll be operating from the television station down there, and he does, you know, he wears some pretty loud ties, and he wears the suspenders. Very, very respected meteorologist down there in the Birmingham area. And he has had a little bit of of complaint at times about how some of these live streamers tend to go overboard with their forecasting based on models, not on the forecast itself. So when we talk about models, they are complex computer simulations. And these complex computer simulations, they calculate future atmospheric conditions that are based on the computer's mathematical equations that are input into the model, as well as current weather data. So they take for a typical model, they will take the current conditions in whatever area. It could be local, it could be across a large area. And they will take these conditions, and then they will feed it into the supercomputer that is running these models. And the computer calculates what the trend is based on past actions, based on historical data, based on the current conditions. So these models will give an idea of what the weather could be like at a future date. It could be in 3 or 4 days, could be in a week, could be 2 weeks out. Typically, they keep it out to about 2 weeks when they do these models, up to about 2 weeks. Sometimes they'll do a lot longer range to get an idea of what may be in store for the month or for the season, because we're just now getting into winter. They may be doing some long-term forecast models for how the winter could go based on current conditions and recent conditions as well. Now that's what a forecast model does. Now, a forecast itself, the definition of a forecast is an interpretation of the data from those models and mixed with the current weather conditions and additional factors such as the local climate, the knowledge and analysis of multiple data points. They take all that information and give it into a short-term forecast, like the next 24 hours, the next 48 hours, the next 72 hours. Usually within the next 2 to 3 days, they give you that forecast based on the current conditions as well as the model. So they take that long-term model and they will give it interpreted into a short-term forecast. And one of the ways I can equate this is that you take your severe weather watches and your severe weather warnings. So you have a severe thunderstorm watch, which means that there's the potential for severe weather over the next 12 hours, however long they have the watch out issued for. Then you have a severe thunderstorm warning, which means that conditions are imminent or occurring right now based on radar data or spotter information. So you can kind of think of a model versus a forecast in that way. The model is like a watch. The model says the conditions are going to be like this over the long-term duration of the next few days, couple of weeks. Whereas a forecast is kind of like we've taken all that information from the potential and we are giving you the forecast. We're giving you the weather as to what it's going to be over the next several hours based on that information. Now, there are several different kinds of models. There are models that are geared or focused on precipitation. They're focused on winds and wind patterns. There are models that track storms, like hurricanes, for example. You see some of these models that give you the I think they call it the spaghetti graph, that show the different tracks of a hurricane based on models that are based around the world. There are models based on ice drift from the polar regions, like the icebergs and the movement of those icebergs, for example. There's models on fire weather. They predict the potential for hazards in fire conditions, like here in the Smoky Mountains. That's a useful model as well. Whereas out on the coastlines, they have surge and tidal forecast models based on ocean currents and conditions. So a number of these, or a combination of these, are used by meteorologists around the globe to forecast the weather for their area. There's the HRRR model, which is High Resolution Rapid Refresh. These are just a few examples. There are dozens of models out there that are weather related. These are some of the more often used ones. HRRR. Then you have the NAM, the North American Mesoscale model. You have the GFS, the Global Forecast Model. And then you have the ECMWF, which is the European Center for Medium Range Weather Forecasts. Sometimes it's called just simply the European model. And then you have one called the Rapid Refresh Model, the RAP.
WB4GBI repeater.
So these models, again, they range in their purpose, and they range in what they are predicting, and the meteorologists at the Weather Service offices and at your local TV stations, they will take these forecast models, they will take all the data that they get based off of not just these models, but also off current conditions, and say, okay, this is our forecast for the next 24 hours, 48 hours, etc. Models should not be considered the verbatim forecast. Some people are confusing that, and some of these live streamers that are out there are saying, okay, you look at this model, in 2 weeks we're going to have a deep freeze. You should cancel Christmas. You should you should move to a shelter. You should get all the bread and milk off the shelves of every single grocery store within a 20-mile radius, because it's going to be something based on a model from 2 weeks from now. No, that's not it. James Spann, who I mentioned earlier, he's very agitated by some of these people who put out these bombastic videos that try to do some sort of doomsday gloom and doom of weather forecasting. These people are not meteorologists more often than not, and they're not necessarily qualified or not necessarily knowledgeable of the weather conditions in a certain region to give these kinds of forecasts. They're just basically doing it for the clicks. You could basically call it the modern term of clickbait. So, and a couple of notices here about that. James Spann said that there were people that were canceling vacations because a model gave a prediction that there could be some very bad weather coming in a couple of weeks' time. So they went ahead and canceled. No, you shouldn't be doing stuff like that. If you got a vacation plan, you should keep an eye on it as you get closer to the vacation time, but don't necessarily cancel your plans 2 weeks out thinking that a forecast model is going to determine whether or not you're going to have a great time out on the beach. I saw that, Jason. Okay. And again, as I was saying, models are not forecasts, but they do give an idea of what should be happening. Now, for example, tonight, I was watching the National Weather Service NWS chat, and tonight the models were predicting a rise in temperatures based on the data that it was fed. Some of the models were saying that the temperatures are going to start to warm up, and a lot of and then we're talking like in the northern parts of the state, up towards Kentucky and the Virginia state lines, that the temperatures should start rising, and the cold, the frozen precipitation should start to melt. Well, right now those temperatures are still hovering at the freezing mark. They were supposed to have started going up a couple of hours ago. So they've actually had to extend the winter weather advisory for Tennessee, for these Tennessee areas, because the temps are not going up as fast as these models predicted. So the models, again, they say this is what should happen, but the forecast is what is actually happening. And right now, and even then with the forecast, it may not be entirely accurate. We've seen that many times here in the East Tennessee region. They predict 6 inches of snow, and we get 6 snowflakes. So that's a typical that's a typical winter here in East Tennessee. And the exact opposite. They'll predict just a light snow flurry, and then you end up having to break out the shovels and the ice melt so that you can get out of your driveway in all the warm, sunny weather that they were predicting. So this is, this is one of the most difficult regions, in part because of the terrain and the climate, to predict weather for. So one meteorologist I spoke to said he was out in San Diego, and he said that was great. The forecast is almost the same 365 days out of the year. That's an easy place to predict weather. But over here, it's not so much. So again, part of this was opinion, in that you should be mindful of what you're watching when you go out on YouTube or social media and see these predictions out there for what's going on in 2 weeks. Keep it in the back of your mind, but don't take it as the gospel, because we don't know what's going to happen in 2 weeks. I could tell you in 2 weeks there's going to be 10 inches of snow and conditions can change. Conditions, as many of us know, they change right up until the last second. Last year, here in where I live, we got almost 10 inches of snow, and just about 5 miles south of me, they hardly got any snow. So, it's again, it's a very dynamic area here to call the weather for, and trying to say what's going to happen in 2 weeks is it's like gambling in Vegas. It's and you'll be just about as accurate. So with that, are there any questions or comments on this, or anything to add to that? I'll open it up for that, we'll take some check-ins here in a second. But any questions or comments based on this? Okay, nothing hurt. Any check-ins? Any late check-ins that want to let us know they're listening? You don't have to be a SKYWARN spotter. Just have to be a ham. We'll stand by. This is WX4TYS.
KQ4 ZMX, Kilo Quebec 4, Zulu Mike X-Ray, Craig.
Hi, Craig. Got you in there. Where are you located, and what's the weather doing there? How's the weather today for you?
I am located in South Knoxville. It's currently 33 degrees. A little bit of precipitation, not a lot, just a little bit. A little cool out there, but other than that, we're all good here.
Okay, copy that. I see Kilo Zulu 4 Whiskey Tango Foxtrot is checking in on the chat, and you have to understand I'm watching it through my TV, so I don't have the live chat up on my computer screen. So it'll pop up on my Roku app. The live chat will pop up and it'll disappear after a few. But I will check him in. Any other check-ins? This is WX4TY standing by. Sorry, did that again. KZ4WTF, what's your name, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, Lord. Stupid thing. Alright, nothing heard. So, give me just a second here. I got a possible other topic to cover here. Was yeah, there is the potential this later this week for a what they call a big snowstorm. Thank you, Shane. And so they're calling Friday, Saturday. They're talking about snow coming into the region. Again, it's 5-6 days out. The models are, as we get closer and closer to the end time for when this event happens, the models tend to get a little more accurate. You know, kind of like saying, okay, you know, I'm looking in the sky and that meteor is, you know, several hundred miles away. And then the meteor starts coming right at you, and as it gets closer and closer to you, you can kind of tell that, you know, how far away it is and what direction it's traveling. And of course, if it slaps you in the face and it becomes a meteorite, then you know it's right upon you. But you know, that's kind of the way it is with weather. The closer we get to the actual event, whether it be a severe thunderstorm or a severe winter storm, we're not really positive what's going to happen for the most part. The computer models, they have some of the most powerful computers out there, and sometimes they get it wrong. And just like I was saying a minute ago, the models are saying that the temperature should be rising right now in the northern counties of Tennessee, and they're not doing that. So they
WB4GBI repeater.
Sorry about that. So they've had to extend these winter watches because the models and even their forecasts were a little off on the timing. So it does happen from time to time. Again, for the forecast models, they're good to have in the back of your mind for how to prepare yourself and to plan. But don't gauge your entire livelihood based on what's going what a computer thinks is going to happen in a couple of weeks. It's good to keep in your mind, but again, not something that should dictate your life, unless of course, the closer you get to that actual event, to your actual vacation or whatever it is that you're planning in 2 weeks, then of course you need to take more notice of it. Got you there in Copperhill. All right. Any comments or questions? WX4TYS. We'll talk about that and mention a little bit about what's going on up in Kentucky as well. My brother's name is Shane. And I'll check YouTube after this to see if anybody else had any comments or any check-ins or anything like that. All right, nothing heard. So, I know one of the Tims was complaining that they didn't get the winter weather. And I mentioned that they should go a few miles up north. Up in Kentucky, they're getting socked in pretty hard with this stuff. And out west, western Kentucky, in the Paducah area, they are getting hammered with ice. Almost an inch of ice has fallen in some areas up in the western Kentucky, southern Indiana, along the Ohio River Valley there, where the Paducah, Kentucky Weather Service operates. There was one person who even reported that people in some homes, like mobile homes, and in heavily wooded areas, they were actually taking shelter in the lower parts of their house because they were concerned that the weight of the ice was going to bring down large tree branches and entire trees onto their house or onto their property. So some of these people are taking shelter from that. KD4MRQ, got you in there. I'll look you up on QRZ. Thank you, sir. So, yeah, up in Kentucky, and apparently up towards Jellicoe earlier today, there was some pretty bad weather causing accidents. So, just a few miles difference can make all the difference when it comes to bad weather, especially in this region. But it seems like the people up in Kentucky are getting it pretty good right now. But yeah, now 2 weeks prior, they had all these models going down into Tennessee, down into Chattanooga area even for some models, and as we've seen, that didn't happen. So knock on wood. I'll do that here. Knock on wood. It didn't get that bad for most of us, but next time could be different. Again, keep an eye on the forecast for this upcoming week, upcoming weekend. We could be in for it based on not just the models, but based on what the forecasters are saying. Currently, I'm just pulling off of one website here. The forecast is forecast for this week from Monday through Thursday. The highs are going to be just at the freezing mark. Wednesday and Thursday, the highs are only going to hit 32 degrees. And the lows are going to be in the teens and upper teens there. Friday, they're calling for snow showers, and into Saturday morning. It should start to warm up Saturday afternoon, but depending on the timing, and again, some of these models are predicting some pretty interesting snow showers, but we really won't know what it's going to do until it gets here. So you should be prepared. If I don't get you on the YouTube, I'll check in after. I'll check you in afterwards. How can you be prepared if first of all, you shouldn't be doing any unnecessary travel. But of course, that doesn't stop people around here. This is East Tennessee, after all. So some people are going to get in their SUVs, or maybe even their cyber trucks, and go out there and damn the weather full speed ahead, because they forget that they might be able to drive pretty well while in motion on snow covered roads, but coming to a stop can often be a very different factor entirely. So if something should happen, what's a good way to be prepared? Well, one of the things that I've done in the past to prepare myself is to have a backpack, like a school backpack, ready with what I would call my portable go kit, or radio bag. I had at least 2 HTs, one that's a primarily ham radio, another that is primarily GMRS or FRS. So I had at least 2 of those radios in the bag. I had spare batteries for both of these radios. I had a portable radio, like a shortwave radio that I could carry. I had a flashlight. I had reflective tape as well. And I even had a laser pen. This one was a green laser pen, just for the purpose of getting attention. Not to shine it at aircraft, but to at least get attention that I might need help should I be stranded in a unusual situation. Like I'm going from here to my office about a mile away, and somehow I end up in the Smoky Mountains. There are people that do this. So, also with the radio equipment, it's not bad to have a change of clothes and some non-perishable snacks. Trail mix, I would say bottled water, but you don't want to keep that in the vehicle because of freezing temperatures. If you throw a bag in the back of your car, and then you go in and the temperatures go down to 15 degrees for 2 or 3 days, and then you decide you're going to go out and travel the world, and you get stranded somewhere. If you go for that bottled water, it's probably going to be a brick of ice. So probably would want to keep bottled water with you and take it with you as you go out. KQ4KRG. Any other ideas for what to take in your vehicle? We'll take a standby. This is WX4TYS. Yeah, we had a double there. DIJ, I heard you. Who was the other station?
Good evening, Greg.
Hello, Mr. Andrew. Let me go to you first. What would you take with you if you had to go out in bad weather?
Apologies for checking in. It's a little bit late. Yeah, me, if I had to go out in bad weather, I'd consider some flashlights, some essential medications if you have pre-existing conditions, blankets, like you said, the bottle of water. That's not the brick of ice. Maybe some protein bars, things like that. Blankets, enough clothes to keep you warm. Maybe consider toboggans, gloves, things like that.
Yeah, good suggestions there. Toboggans and gloves and yeah, blankets. Yeah, I forgot about the blanket part. But yeah, just something that you can stuff in a small bag just to keep in case you you may be going to work and it may be, this is East Tennessee. I've actually seen this happen. You go to work or you go to school. It's warm, sunny weather in the morning, like at 8 a.m. and then come 5 p.m. when you're getting ready to go home, there's probably 2 or 3 inches of snow on the ground. So I've actually worked outdoors in it. Came into work early in the morning and I had to do some work out in the parking lot. And sunny, I was wearing shorts. And sunny sunny weather. It was February, I think. Sunny weather and a little bit of a chill in the air, but nothing too bad. But then it got rainy around noon, and then turned to sleet, turned to a mixed precipitation, and then by the time I left work, there was hard snow coming down. So it was definitely an interesting day. Let's see, Ken, what else did you have in there? I know you checked in. Go ahead.
I have a regular blanket, but a while back, probably 10, 15 years ago, we found this little package in one of the, I forget, one of the Army stores or something I was in that had things like that. And it's a little 6 by whatever, and it's an aluminum blanket, so to keep it warm. I carry that in case we have to help somebody on the road that gets in an accident, something on to cover somebody up. And I now have a tarp that I keep in there just for having it if you need to crawl underneath something or maybe have it for over the top of your head or something. So I just threw one of those in there, and that travels with us. So just other odd things that you can carry.
All right, very good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that information. Anybody else with any other additional items that they would pack? Of course, if you have them, chains wouldn't hurt to have on your vehicle. We don't use them very much here in this part of the country, but they do come in handy from time to time. Yeah, go ahead.
When I lived in Maryland, we had chains, but you know what you can use instead of chains is large wire ties. Put them around your tire and have the part where the wire tie goes through, have that where the traction is. Put a handful of them on your vehicle, and you can usually get a little bit of traction. I keep a whole bunch of stuff in my vehicle in case I break down or somebody else does, or like Ken said, you need to help somebody else on the side of the road. I keep road flares and several first aid kits and one of those things that you put under your tire and it folds up and you can unfold it, put it under your tire and get traction. So yeah, I keep a lot of stuff in my vehicle, and I got a bag a backpack that if I had to, that the wife and I could abandon the vehicle and live off of that for probably about 24 hours.
Yeah, I've seen that about using wire ties on your vehicle. Are we talking the plastic wire ties, or are they the actual like metal wire ties?
The black plastic ones, I mean, they make them different colors, but the black ones, and get them to go through your. You got to get the real big ones. And I've got a couple. I don't have any in my car, but that's something that you can do. I've never had to use them, so I've never really bothered. But just put them around your tire and connect it, from the rim, a hole in the rim, and it'll help you get traction.
I've seen videos on it. I'm just trying to wrap my head around how they could do that. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. I've not tried it yet, but I guess if anything, they'd be used to get you out of a situation. I mean, you could. I don't think they would last very long. I'm sure after a few rotations, they would all just kind of strip off. Yeah, that's the truth there. All right. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate the additional information, Tim. Good info. I may have to try that. May have to go buy some heavy duty wire ties or tie wraps or what? Zip ties. There we go. Zip ties. Several different names for them. Any other comments or late check-ins? WX4TY standing by. A little quiet, but it is New Year's, so it is a holiday.
Kilo Quebec 4 Whiskey Echo Delta.
KQ4WD. I think I had you on YouTube there. Go ahead. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you for the check-in. Just want to throw in, I don't know if it was already said about something to maybe start a fire with. You never know when you might need to, start one to keep warm.
Yeah, that is a good idea. Have something there, and try not to siphon gas out of your tank. I don't know how some of these newfangled gas tanks probably don't allow that, but who knows? Some people may try to do something crazy like that. Yeah, that's a good idea. You can probably get it at like your Bass Pro Shops or some outdoor camping supply stores or camping supply department in your big box stores. All right. Anything? Anyone else? WX4TYs. District 5 SKYWARN Training Net. If you want to check in late, you can do so now, and we'll do that, and then we'll start to wrap things up. Unless there's any other discussion, one at a time. Call sign, name, and location, and let us know what the weather's doing in your neck of the woods, and we'll put it in our log here. This is WX4TYS for standing by. Why does it do that? That's weird.
Recheck KG4GMU.
Yeah, go ahead, Nora.
Being from the Atlanta area, I can say that there are a lot of people who carry a brightly colored t-shirt, and if they're on the freeway or some busy road, you slip one arm of that t-shirt over your side mirror, and the passing traffic helps to wave it and keep people off of you.
That's interesting. I don't know if I've personally seen something like that myself, but that does seem to be a good way to at least draw attention so that people don't come up on you and sideswipe you. So that's a pretty good thought. Thank you, sir. You say that this is something that's you've seen down in the Atlanta area?
Affirmative. 285, anybody that's stopped for, especially somebody that's on the freeway and not beside it.
Oh, okay.
I have seen them one on each mirror when they were in the road.
Hmm.
Even, different colors, bright red, whatever, something, whatever you've got in your box that doesn't fit anymore or is too faded to bother you.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, and it doesn't hurt to get a loud colored shirt for such an occasion. So I might have to go through an old wardrobe to find one, but I'm sure I've got one somewhere. Yeah, wearing dark colored clothing at night is not the best way to try and get attention, because I have almost hit someone who was walking on the side of a road. There was no shoulder. There was the little white line, and then there was the hill, and because this was wasn't shod road, but it was a road like that. It's a very thin stretch of road, and you go. You're going down this one particular stretch of road where it's long and straight and narrow, and there's a hill on the side, and there's like a, I guess like a creek or something on the other side. If it was at night, and I'm going around, and I'm going around this windy curve, and then I hit this one particular stretch, and just out of nowhere, this guy's walking, and the only thing that he had reflecting was a little bit on the heel of his shoe. This little small reflecting decoration on the back of his tennis shoe was probably what kept me from turning him into road pizza. So anyway, another good suggestion from YouTube. I did get in on the chat there. A bag of play sand for traction, weight, and to put under the tires to aid in getting out of a stuck situation. You can also use your rubber floor mats for traction. And to get out from out of a slick spot. So that's a good suggestion. Thank you, sir. That was Jason, W4DFB, came up with that one. Okay, I think I may not have had the microphone keyed all the way after I did that. Stand by. I was saying that suggestion for the bag of play sand for traction, that came from Jason, W4DFB. That may help you getting out of a slick spot if you end up there. So anyway, any other suggestions? WX4TYS.
WB4GBI repeater. W4DFB, one more.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's my favorite thing to keep, which is also good to have right before winter starts. It's just a small can of WD-40. Take it in a paper towel and wipe your rubber seals on your door, jams on your vehicle, and that'll help keep them from sticking when you get some frozen rain. It's great to have in your vehicle for situations where something
What?
is stuck. It won't de-ice, but it'll definitely lubricate. So it's always handy to have.
WD-40. WD-40 can loosen up propane and propane accessories. Well, every time I hear the word WD-40, I think of that one thing from King of the Hill where Hank Hill, he can't get his can of WD-40 to spray because it's frozen up, so he takes out the little can of WD-40 from his side pocket that he had on his belt, and he sprays it and loosens it up so that he can use the bigger can. That's what I think of every time I hear WD-40 now. But that is a good suggestion. Frozen keys. That is one thing that happened to me last year. One of my vehicles is so old you actually have to use a physical key to unlock it, and so I had to use the key in order to get into my vehicle, and needed to go and get some WD-40 out of the shed, and the shed's lock was frozen solid, so I had to work on that for a couple of minutes to get that unfrozen so I could get to the WD-40 and get to the key lock on my vehicle. So anyway, thanks for that. Any other suggestions? Propane and propane accessories? Yes, it is, Mr. QCJ. Mr. Caleb, it is. Okay, nothing heard. Last call for any check-ins, late check-ins, call now. WX4TYS, District 5, SKYWARN Trading Net. Anyone, anywhere. All right, nothing heard. And I want to thank everybody for participating tonight. Or if anything, just listening. Listen to me ramble for an hour. I do that from time to time. we provided a lot of information tonight, and hopefully you'll find some of it useful. You can find us on the web at etskywwarn.com, and there on our website is a link at the bottom of the front page to the SKYWARN spotter classes that are currently scheduled. I would start checking at least on a weekly basis, because they are going to start updating for more counties over the next month or so. More counties are going to get scheduled. Like I said, there's nothing right now for Knox, Blount, or Sevier counties. There's one for Anderson County. There's probably going to be another one for Anderson County later on down the road. Campbell, Claiborne counties, I'm sure there'll be classes scheduled for them as well. Morristown, Hamlin County, I'm sure there's going to be a class scheduled for them as well. So there's usually, like I said previously, there's usually at least 2 classes per year for Knox County. There may be more. There may be one that's scheduled more for emergency service and first responder personnel than it is for the general public. But they do at least do it two a year, typically for Knox County. Same for Blount County. McMinn, Monroe, the counties out to the south and to the west of us. You'll see some more of those getting scheduled as time goes on. There's a link to our Discord if you want to participate in that. And the next scheduled SKYWARN District 5 Training Net will be on February the 2nd. I think that'll be on Groundhog Day. So, I think it's on the 2nd. So, we'll do it on Groundhog Day, and then we'll do it at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 11 o'clock. Or more than likely we won't. So anyway, thanks for checking in this evening, everyone. As a reminder, this net is held monthly on the first Sunday of the month at 8 o'clock local time. So this is WX4TYS closing down the East Tennessee SKYWARN net, training net at 9:05 local time. Thanks to Tim Berry, WB4GBI, for the use of our repeater. Be sure to visit our website again at www.etskywwarn.com. You can also go to .net or .org, and also check out our Discord and participate if you'd like. And we'll keep an eye on the weather, especially the potential for the severe weather, or the winter weather this weekend. Typically, if we do have a winter storm, what we try to do is do hourly check-ins, hourly reports, and then take those reports, the snowfall totals, the road conditions. We will pass that on to the Weather Service on a hourly interval, or as needed if it's a severe weather report. So tune in if the weather calls for it. We will try and have information on our Facebook group as well. This is WX4TYS, returning the repeater to normal use. Thank you very, very much, everyone, and this is K4HSM signing off. Clear? Woo! Thank you, sir. Mr. Spazzing out. Thank you. I'm going to see. Now I got to pull up the video. Like I said, now this... well, I got you on the live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Let me find that website. Again, here's the spotter training classes that are currently scheduled. And they'll update them as they get things scheduled, so I would check back on a weekly basis. Because I know, like, probably next Monday, or next Sunday or next Monday, this is probably going to grow. Because I'm pretty sure Anthony's going to have a few scheduled, especially up in the Tri-Cities area. I don't see anything up there for right now. Here's our website. Just a real quick look at that. And there's a link to our Discord. There's a link to a symposium that Josh did with James Spann. That's everything below the forehead there. That's James Spann. And Jeremy Buckles and we all participated in this Q&A session with Josh on his Ham Shack channel. And it's got a link to a couple of the repeaters, a couple of the radars. And let me pull up that website I had just a minute ago. Here it is. This is at wrh.noaa.gov. I'll put the link in the YouTube chat. And you can go here and you can choose different overlays here. You can do the NOAA radar, the current radar, and then take out the overlay of the hazards and the warnings. You can see this is mostly rain here. I think up here this is mostly the wintry mix, the wintry precipitation. And precipitation analysis here. I think these are like rainfall totals. Yeah, 1 hour accumulation. So this would be rain. Up here, I'm pretty sure that's snow. Well, that might be rain actually, and over here where the cooler colors are snow. You know, the greens I think is rain. The blues are going to be snow and mixed precipitation there. And here's the overlay with all the watches and warnings. You can even change the opacity. And I think that the one disadvantage is that it'll when it refreshes all the settings too. So anyway, that's this is a good site to use. I got shown that recently, and this could be very useful for figuring out what the weather is. But again, with weather models, I'm very, you know, I'm all for weather. I'm all for these weather geeks out there. Let me do that again there. Stand by here. Okay, so get this out of the way. I'm all for some of these weather channels on YouTube. You know, I'm not going to mention any of them by name because I don't want to call any of them out. But you know, I mean, you know, like I've seen these storm chasers out there. You know, you watch them out there in Tornado Alley. They go out and chase them, or they go out and chase hurricanes down in the Florida Keys and the Gulf Coast area. You see those. That's one thing. But then you have some of these people that go on YouTube with these very loud graphics. You know, these big, you know, letters up on the screen. You know, major snowstorm coming, or you know, severe weather imminent, and you know, and a bunch of exclamation marks on it, and they got these ginormous letters with shadows and shading and all that just makes it sound like it's gonna be, you know, the Armageddon in the weather world. And you know, I get it. I get it. I mean, these people on YouTube, they've got one purpose, and that's to make money. Okay, it's not to be active in the community. If they're monetized, they're there to make money. Okay, that's what they want. That's what they want to do. They want to get your attention, and that's why they have those bombastic graphics. I love using that word, bombastic, but they love giving you those, you know, those eye-catching graphics to get your attention to click on their videos. That's what it's all about. You know, they're sensationalizing, and you know, if it's, you know, if you're doing it to make people aware of the weather and have them take shelter and, you know, be proactive in being weather aware, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But if you're doing it for the purpose of trying to sensationalize something and make, you know, obviously they're going to make money off of it. But if you do something like that you over sensationalize something, and turns out that that event doesn't happen, then it's just clickbait. And I don't care much for that. I think the sincerity goes down a lot when the monetization is present. And I think for some people it's like these social media influencers that are out there. They try to go out there and do these wacky stunts to try and get views. And some of these stunts end up blowing up in their face. Literally, some guy will take a gas tank full of nitro or something like that and have somebody shoot bullets into it while he's holding it. Let's see what happens. And then of course it explodes and blows their face off, and oh, he was such a nice kid, he was such a smart person. No, he wasn't. if he's doing something that stupid, and I'm just making up a stupid example. I don't want to try and be specific. I don't want to be too specific with any particular channels out there. But these kinds of stunts are they're done for the purpose of getting people to watch. And Jason mentioned the Weather Channel. One of the meteorologists here in Knoxville on the local TV station, he says that sometimes the Weather Channel will do graphics where they draw these big painted blotches on the national map, saying this could be where severe weather happens or where winter weather happens. And then his TV station gets inundated with phone calls from people saying, is it going to do this next week? Is it going to do this next, tomorrow, or blah, 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 blah. He calls it the Weather Channel effect. So, because they will do like these big broad strokes of graphics that say, okay, you're going to have severe weather all through this area here. And then they have their what do you call those? What's that word? They have the the terms and such that only they use, the Torcon index and all that. And so it's done to, they're trying to monetize the weather, basically. That's what the Weather Channel is trying to do. It's monetization of the weather. And that's why these winter storms have names that they give. And some people on some of these YouTube channels call them by those names. And it's a very fine line that the Weather Channel walks every now and then, using their proprietary data. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, Eagle. Like I said, I don't want to call out channels specifically, but I personally do not watch Ryan's channel. No, I mean, other than I just don't have time. I don't have enough hours in a day to watch everything, and I don't have enough. I don't have like 20 banks of computer monitors that I could watch 20 different weather channels on. Although I've tried that with like rocket launches. I have a TV. I have three. I have a laptop. I have a docking station with two additional monitors, and so I'll do that for rocket launches. Maybe for the weather. So, and that's all great and fine and dandy until the power goes out. So, and my UPS is only good for just a little bit. So anyway. With that, I appreciate everybody checking in tonight. I think I've got everybody checked in from YouTube. So, thanks again. Hope you all have a great holiday. Yes, Eagle, I've been to Starbase down in Texas. Went down there a couple of years ago. Fantastic site. I love it. And that's a big frickin' rocket. They called it the BFR, the Big Falcon rocket. I think that was the initial name for it. And it is. It's like trying to launch a... Basically, we here in Knoxville, I don't know where you're from. Here in Knoxville, we got the Sunsphere. Take the Sunsphere and put a frickin' booster rocket on the bottom of it. That's what you're trying to launch up into space. That's incredible. That's insane. And but anyway, we are going to keep an eye on the weather for the weekend, for this winter storm that the models are predicting could happen. Keep an eye on the forecast, the shorter term forecast. If we do go active again, we'll probably do hourly updates on 694 repeater. I don't know if we'll try and live stream some of that. It just depends on, on what resources we have and how the weather turns out. If it turns out there could be some pretty interesting stuff, we'll see if we can live stream. So anyway, thanks again, everybody. I'm gonna shut her down here, and y'all have a great week ahead. Have a good new year. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon.